Welcome back, everybody. How's it going, bro? Today we're gonna be doing a lot of things. I can't lie. Today the red team is gonna have a pretty big day, like pretty big day. Japanese, always a big day for them. Same with Saigon. A lot of big things are gonna be happening today, basically. And first things first, we'll begin in Japan like always. And today, the yellow team will be actually launching their invasion of these guys. I forgot their name, the pink guys, but they're gonna get absolutely steamrolled. Of course, like the capital is gonna fall, just like that. And yeah, I can't lie. They're like they're cooked. They're completely and utterly cooked. That's all just gonna become a part of the yellow guys. They're just gonna take all of that, like not even a second thought. That's all gone. Um, yeah, see, that's all gone now. But during this expansion, a lot of military equipment is actually gonna get degraded in this because like it's they're not gonna be able to take. They took it fast, but they didn't take it that fast. Anyways, up here, um, yeah, I don't even know what to say. These guys, they're gonna launch the invasion into the green guys, and they're gonna instantly just like, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, bro, these guys obviously are gonna win. Like, they're like the strongest country in the north. It's not even a question who's winning that one. Um, so yeah, that's all. That's all just gone. Yeah, that's over. That's over. Shanghai is actually gonna start viewing this island really closely though, because they're gonna be like, "Yo, we might want to cop some of that." You know what I'm saying? Like, they might want to take that over. Like they might, they might. I can't lie. They might want some of that. Um, over here, these guys. Actually, you remember these guys? Basically, uh finally something's gonna happen with them. So they've been sitting dormant for a while now, and they're gonna decide, you know what, it's finally time. They're gonna sense their opportunity with all the Japanese states turning against these guys because their invasion of this country, and also their military getting absolutely degraded in that. These guys are going to sense their opportunity and they're gonna launch a massive invasion, and it's gonna start near the capital. It's gonna capture bunch of port cities everywhere. It's even gonna capture one on the northern side. It's gonna capture one right there, and it's actually gonna capture this entire bay region. So that's all gone. And at this point, people are confused. They're like, "What just happened? How did this small of an island just take over all of this?" And that's because these guys have been keeping to themselves, building up their economy, building up their military, and doing it all in secret because there's no one really keeping an eye on them. And well, they finally decided to strike now, and they're able to catch everybody off guard. And basically, the yellow team keeps making the same mistake. Every single one of their generals keeps making the same mistake, and that mistake is they basically all keep expecting these guys to be really, really weak, like really, really weak. Um, and that is because, well, no one really expects these guys to be strong, and they're all like, you know what, the other generals are just really weak. That's why they lost. And that keeps going on, and then every single general keeps thinking that, every single general keeps losing. These guys have now grown really strong, they've captured all that, and these guys are forced to join into the war. However, not by their own decision, because again, the green guys are actually the ones that invade them, and they're able to capture all of that. Meanwhile, over here, the capital is actually going to get blitzkrieged through, which is finally going to lead to the capitulation of the south and eventually the surrender of the north, leading to the destruction of the yellow team once and for all. And the orange team at this point is going to realize maybe this is not worth it. And the king is going to flee, which is going to lead to panic across the state and eventually its capitulation. So, with that, the entirety of southern Japan is now in the hands of one singular country. And it's looking a lot like Japan may once again be united. But only time will tell, obviously. Only time can tell, really, what's going to happen with Japan. For now, though, let's color this in. So all of this, gone. Actually though, not really. Basically, I forgot to mention, I had this planned out. Forgot to mention, while all of this was getting invaded, the green guys are actually going to also invade, and they're going to capture the north region. So while that was happening, so they're going to capture just a little piece of that, which means that actually the peace treaty is going to look like this. I completely forgot to do that. That was the original plan. However, I completely forgot to do that. So we'll just incorporate it into the storyline by saying that basically the, these guys need some money, but they also want to be like on good terms with the green guys. So they give this up in exchange for a small amount of money, just to show that they're not that deadly. Because a lot of people are getting scared now. So that's how we can just justify that. That is my fault. I completely forgot to do that. It's okay. It's fine. Over here, though, all this panic is gonna cause a lot of uniting, and basically these guys are gonna unite with these guys, forming one state. And this Bengal, no, I mean Bay thing, they're going to actually, oops, my fault. They're going to actually annex this, and they're also going to annex, well, not annex, like unite with annex, kind of same thing. These three, and they're actually going to ask these guys to join them as well. However, those guys are going to say no because they basically say that, you know what, no, they're like old Japan, like, you know, the original plan was to like keep Japan divided because then everyone could have their own country. Maybe it would be more peaceful. However, with the invasion of the yellow team into a peaceful country, as well as then the invasion of the island people into the yellow team, kind of proves to all these guys that, you know what, maybe these gang, city, state type things aren't really working out. Which is why now all the panic is happening and a lot of people are annexing things, and it's looking a lot more like actual countries rather than just city states. Which is, I guess, not really good for these guys because they don't want to join anybody. They want to keep their own independence. However, that means that they're getting eyed really closely by these guys who want a foot on the actual main Japanese island, because that's basically where the legitimacy of the state will lie. Whoever will be the successor state to Japan. So yeah, Shanghai is also like eyeing this island really, really closely. Cause look, they have all of this now. Like they could complete their Arctic Circle type thing. Anyway, we can move on to Saigon now. And over here, these guys are going to actually launch a surprise attack into this state, and this is going to be because no reason. Like they're just gonna, they wanted to conquer this anyways, so they're just gonna use this moment of chaos. Basically, these guys are going through some political turmoil because of the economy and stuff, and these guys decide to just use that, and they launch a massive, massive invasion. These guys, they're not ones to just sit around and do nothing. They send a little military ship over here to launch a mini invasion, and it's actually almost able to make it to the capital. However, the supply lines are cut and those guys are completely destroyed. Meanwhile, over here, these guys continue climbing down the coastline, and basically, they're actually doing something really smart. They send naval ships, and naval ships like bombard the coast. Meanwhile, the troops invade from the north, and then they're able to capture the coast really easily. And some troops also go in from those ships. So, you know, that's definitely going well for them. Capital is eventually reached, but not completely destroyed. However, they do cut around it to basically sever all of this, and they're eventually able to capitulate the capital area, and they actually burn down the capital. Oops, that might have been a little bit too much. They're able to basically capitulate the capital area, but this thing they still have to fight pretty deeply. Um, I think it's gonna be a slow fight. However, eventually they're probably gonna be able to take all of this as well. So yeah. So with that, taking a look at the peace treaty, I would say that now that southern Saigon is completely united into one country, next episode the Saigon storyline is definitely going to take a turn for the worse, because war is going to become a lot bigger of a thing happening over here, and there will definitely be in the upcoming 2 or 3 episodes even, there might be like one clear successor to Saigon. Or maybe not, because I have a few more things I want to do. Anyway, these guys up here, they're actually gonna all like combine military forces and sign a formal agreement. They're also gonna look towards the Philippines as a key ally, especially these guys and these guys. These guys because, well, Taiwan is right there, and then these guys because, you know, these guys are probably gonna be the closest to the Philippines because like the main Philippines island is right there. They're so close that many in Philippines are even considering giving them a chunk of this island, like just so they can have a safe military base type area. Many are saying that once the Philippines is forced to probably inevitably leave this island, just because like the people living there, it's not really profitable. The people living there, like kind of want independence, not really. Like they don't. They some want to be a part of the Philippines, some don't, but they don't care enough to rebel. It's just not profitable, you know. Like the Philippines isn't getting anything from keeping this island, especially since Saigon is completely destroyed now. They don't really have a reason to keep that island under their control, just because it's just going to cause more problems later on, especially with all the pirating happening. They just don't want it to be their responsibility. So when they're forced to eventually leave, many are saying maybe give it to these guys, and then it would look kind of like this, and these guys would have like a pretty big naval base type region type thing. But yeah, let's move on from that. Next thing on our list is, let me check my notes. We got red team. Oh yeah, the red team and the Ottomans. Now, if you remember, the red team last episode fell apart and was taken over by a military ruler who actually doesn't control all of the red team. He only controls regions that are not in brown right now. So these are the only regions he actually controls. This, all that, the colonies, main red team. He technically doesn't control Anatolia, but Anatolia is siding with him right now. So technically, he only like loses Carthage and Morocco. Thing is, Morocco is the richest area in the red team by far. Their contribution to the red team GDP is currently about 50%. So Morocco alone is the same as the entire rest of the red team, including the capital area, which before was like 30% of the entire thing. They were like 30% of the 30% of the GDP. But then after the blue team war with the red team, this area was like basically a lot of investors moved out of here because they realized that every time there's a red team blue team war, which because of how easily the blue team was able to kind of like win last time or like outsmart the blue team, it might start becoming more likely. So then they all kind of left, and then the civil war happened, so they all definitely left after that. But before the blue team war, it was kind of like 30%, and Morocco was like 20%, and then everything else was there. But now Morocco has kind of annexed that 30% because a lot of investors probably moved out here, as far away from the blue team as possible. Either way though, Morocco is a big problem right now for the military leader, and also Carthage is, because Carthage controls a lot of the military supply to the west of the red team. So a lot of things that go to the west go through Carthage before they're able to enter into federal territory again. Uh, Portugal is their ally. Spain is their ally. Yeah. Anyways, the king of the military leadership kind of got the red team kicked out of the red team alliance, and now they're kind of mad because they're like, you know what? How dare you kick us out of our own alliance, bro? Like, nah, we're not gonna take that. We're not gonna take that lightly. And so they basically, after like failed negotiations and after Ottomans basically distanced themselves completely from the red team, cutting most ties, finally things get to a breaking point. Because it do get to a point, you know? It do get to a point. And the red team basically declares war. And they're like, you know what? We might just have to take Ottoman land by force if we can't have it diplomatically. If we can't have their economy diplomatically and we can't share resources, then let's just take those resources by force. And the red team launches the invasion. They also use Alexandria to launch it, which is actually really deadly for the Ottomans because they did not expect an invasion to be launched from this small of a city, which is like, I would expect that to happen because this thing is a fortress right now. Like with how scared the people living there are, like that is a fortress. So I would like guard that heavily because they definitely have the infrastructure to be able to do this. And yeah, within a couple of days, all of this falls. The Ottomans realize what has just happened, and they locked down the entire country because a lot of like attacks and assassination attempts on high profile figures in the Ottoman Empire are also happening right now, and people are saying that they're paid for by the red team. However, I don't think they are. I think they're mostly just people getting sick of the Ottoman government because it has been the same government since literally the start of the series. And I can't lie, no other country has done that. Not even the blue team. I think even the blue team had had a military government at one point, like, or a rebel government, something. They had something. I think even their government has changed from the original kings. Maybe I'm wrong though. Anyway, the red team actually uses their entire like naval fleet over here to actually invade and capture this thing, and they're able to like completely destroy the port cities over here and basically force the capitulation of this entire region. Like, all of this is just gone. Like, that it's over. Um, they're also like eventually able to probably capitulate this. And at this point, the Ottomans are realizing, you know what, we might be cooked. We might need to like start acting in Anatolia, which they didn't really want to do because like, it's like not it's like home territory. If the red team launches an invasion through there, then the Ottomans might be cooked. But the Ottomans are like, you know what, we have nothing left to lose, and the red team's probably thinking about doing this anyways, so let's just do it first. And they launch an absolutely massive invasion, capturing everything within few hundreds of meters. And yeah, they're able to basically like destroy the red team over here. The red team was also like really not expecting this, and also they can't send that much military in here without offending the Anatolian government. But I don't think they care about that anymore because of the invasion, so they're definitely going to start pumping up troops over there to stop it. They're not really going to be able to push back. Maybe over here a little bit, smooth that out, but like they're not really going to be able to push back. They are going to lock in over here though, and they're going to continue the invasion over here because they basically want to get rid of this Ottoman colony. They actually just want to push the Ottomans back into Europe. That's basically what they're trying to do. Because the Ottomans were getting really strong when they were like getting involved in the rest of the Mediterranean instead of just focusing on the Balkans. I guess that's what the military is trying to do. They're trying to force the Ottomans to return to that age of theirs where they were only focused on the Balkans, which is something that the Greek are also kind of doing. Um, they're definitely also forcing the Ottomans to focus on the Balkans a lot more. But yeah. Anyway, the Mughals kind of get scared. These guys get scared because also the entire Red Team alliance, well, because the Red Team isn't in it anymore, but like the actual Red Team alliance, they're all now sending troops in. So these guys are technically at war as well, but they kind of realize, you know what, this is not going to end well. And since these guys are basically just created on maintaining political stability and safety for its citizens, these guys leave the alliance, becoming one of the first countries to do so willingly, actually. So they just leave. And yeah, that means that basically um they're probably going to be safe. The Ottomans, nothing much is going to change. However, the red team is going to start using Carthage. Since this is gone, they're going to start using the Carthaginian area to invade as well. And they're actually going to be able to seal the deal right here. They're going to capture the coast, and they're going to force the surrender and capitulation of all of this. And that is probably going to be a strong enough hit to force the Ottomans to come to a peace treaty. So, taking a look at this peace treaty, um, it's more of a ceasefire. I can't lie. It's more of a ceasefire. Basically, the red team forces, not forces, they refuse to recognize the Ottoman control over Anatolia, or like kind of. They like, they admit that it's currently being occupied. However, they're saying that Anatolia must withdraw from here within a couple of days. Or not Anatolia. The Ottomans must withdraw from here, and the Ottomans are like, "Nah, this is our land now." So that's actually going to be a disputed territory. However, actually, let's move this border a little bit, just a little bit. Let's move this border. Um, yeah, that's better. So they're actually gonna that's gonna be disputed territory, and then all of this is gonna become federal land. This actually, I could probably annex this, but I won't. This will be a new province. This will be a Moroccan province, and then this will become federal territory. And this is just gonna be an extension of basically Red Team Italy or Red Team France, whichever way you want to look at that. So that's just happened. But actually, it doesn't end there because the Red Team, they decide, you know what, let's just go to war and finish off these rebel provinces who don't agree with us. And basically, Anatolia has currently like completely switched sides. They're now pro-rebel because of what just happened with the Ottomans and how the military was not able to handle that. So yeah, but since they also literally just went through a war, they're basically useless and they get steamrolled pretty fast. because they're so reliant on the military government for their defense anyways, so they're just gone. Carthage faces a pretty bad ending too, because all of this falls within like a couple of days. Instantly, that's all gone. Tunisia area, that's also pushed into pretty difficult. Pretty difficult to maintain that as well. And then Morocco, yeah, they're probably the only like they're the golden child of the rebels. Let's just be real. But even they just lose that, but not as much as everybody else. Um, Carthage is definitely going to continue to get pushed upwards from here, and then over from there, the troops are probably going to start entering, which is going to lead to the capitulation of Carthage. But over here, it's pretty chill for Morocco. Eventually, down the coast, these guys are going to start making their way. Um, yeah, that's not looking that good. Eventually, these guys are going to basically like hit dead ends across like the campaign, and neither side is going to be able to make any like any things. And eventually, after a lot of trade of fire, it's going to lead to a stalemate and basically a ceasefire kind of being drawn up, in which these guys are not really gonna they're gonna ceasefire with everyone except for the Moroccans. They're actually gonna say that the war in Morocco is still ongoing. But yeah, we'll see. Firstly, this and this are both now completely militarified. They're both appointed by the new governments in both of these semi-autonomous provinces are now pro-military. That's just that. Morocco though, Morocco's gonna get a little bit of a surprise. They're basically going to, because this is the home of the rebels, actually, like the dissolutionary rebels that want the entire red team to like the all the provinces of the red team to be independent from the red team, like in the original civil wars. These are those are the guys that are controlling this. So they're going to, you know what, they're going to go through with their plan, and this is what they're going to do. They're actually going to, firstly, let's draw up this new